Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Weekly WAYPN. I'm Cal.
And I'm Sunny.
Today, we're going to be taking a look at a genuine vision.
This is a gnome?
Yep. We'll see. I think it looks way more like a goblin to me.
I think it looks like a witch. I thought it was a witch. But anyhow, feathers only blocked in so far. Fur, skin, and hair mostly finished.
So I really think that the hairs come out really nicely. But one of the things that I noticed, right, and this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about for a hot minute, right, is you've got to paint for scale, right? Uh-huh. So I was looking at the hair, right, and I'm like, oh, how did he, do it like this? Because it looks so...
realistic, and the shine is like in the right places.
Then so I was taking a look at things, right, and all of this looks like his standard stuff, and then I looked at the hair, right, and I can see the lines and that sort of thing, right, and I can sort of get an idea of what he does, right, but when I look at this up close, like, I can't get that translation to here, right? Because I can see the strokes and that sort of thing, right? And it's just me realizing that you've got to paint to scale, right? Because, like, this is how most people are going to be viewing it, like this, right?
Okay.
And, like, there's, like, that blending there, right?
Uh-huh.
You're not going to, like, there's no need to blend. There's no... Like, it won't help you get that effect when you come to here. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But I think it only looks that seamless because of some of the blend work that he's done. I do completely understand what you're saying, because a lot of times when you look at it from far, your eyes will naturally fill in certain gaps. Well, your brain does that for you, actually. It will fill in certain information and create certain illusions that it looks like this perfectly blended piece. And then when you go closer, it's like, oh, it's just actually just a bunch of different colored shapes put on top, stacked on top of each other. Once you go closer in and examine it correctly. But from far, it just looks like this perfect, shiny Barbie doll hair. It really does look like Barbie doll hair, you know?
And I think, like, it probably wouldn't look like Barbie doll hair if he didn't do it like this, at this level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think if for him, he has a certain standard that he has to achieve, and he has to do it in a certain way, maybe? Maybe
I'm not saying there's anything against it. It's just, I wanted to know how he did that, right? But, like, when you go in, like, really close, you see all the strokes and that sort of thing. And I was just thinking to myself, is that part of it? Is that what, like, makes it into this when we get to this
stage?
Sort of, yeah. Well, not stage, but when we view from this sort of distance, right? Because I know that these are slightly bigger models, as far as I remember.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, well, if it is a slightly bigger model, then he has to put more effort into making those blends more colors, or else it will look very obvious when you look at it.
But it's looking really good. Like, the skin, I'm not as much a fan of, but, like, it's got this, like, definite style to it. But when it comes to it, like, I feel like with this guy, he feels more like a goblin. You said feels more like a witch.
It looks like one of those classic Disney film style, the olden Disney movies where that's how the style looks, you know, with that kind of eye shape and everything. At least from the front. And then from the back, it looks very nice and realistic. So I do feel like there's a bit of a clash in stylistic choice here. But I know that that's mostly just a sculpt. But I mostly feel that way because of the choice of... Is that the iris, the white of our eyes?
No, so that's the... okay, no, unfortunately, I'm having a bit of brain fart.
So the white of your eyes, right? It's more peach color that he's used here.
Yeah. Keep going.
So that's why I was thinking.
Scalia, I think they're called.
Is it? No.
Yeah, the white of your eyes is called the scalia.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought maybe it might look nicer with the proper white instead of the cream color, because it seems to be a very different style.
I think you're right. If it wasn't that sort of cream color, I think I'd probably think that it's more gnome-like than goblin-like.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't know. Because, like, yeah, but I think we've said what we can. I really, really like the hair. Like, I want to copy that style. So, yeah, it's very, very nice. Alright, so Joseph asked for some airbrush help, and
he did.
And I'm glad that we had people who responded who weren't just me, because there's a lot of people in the community who are willing to help, and that's really good. So let us move on. Alright, so you want to read out?
I didn't get much done due to my airbrush giving up, but I finished the horns and nails and undercoated the glowing chest cavity or cuato. I was going to keep painting the glow with the airbrush. Let's hope the new O-rings do the job.
Yeah, let's hope so. So let's take a quick look. So we'll see this one evolve over time.
I really love the way he's done the horns.
They just seem so white to me, though.
No, I think that's got a nice sort of
like there's a bit of a gradation, right?
Yeah.
But it's just so bright for me.
It's the light. Trust me, it's
okay.
The light.
All right. Well, we'll see. All right. So next up, and that a boy. So you wanna read?
Start up Sunday. I learned Crusade rules today and realized I didn't have an Emperor's Champion model. So kit bash time using an Infernus Marine's core body, which works with my Crusade backstory, and a two-handed sword, Brethren sword. Wish me luck.
Yep.
I think it looks and turned out pretty good.
Yeah. No. So that's the way. Kit bashing is 100% the way. I think you should get some jewelry store chain, right?
Not jewelry store chain.
What's it?
You know, cosmetic jewelry. The chain, not jewelry store chain. When you say jewelry store chain, you mean legit gold chains from the jewelers.
Oh, I don't mean that. It's
a craft tool. So it's like they'll have like tiny little packets where they sell like gold chains, which are just like something like plastic or aluminium coated kind of chains. You know what I'm talking about.
I think some of the times it's metal. It's like some sort of stainless steel or something.
Yeah, it's very small and thin.
Anyway, it's very small because you're doing Black Templar, and just wrap that around the arm, and that'll give you that extra Black Templar feel. All right, so
Calvinoni says 6 more done, a mix this time.
Okay, so I really like the one in this shield.
Yes, I agree with you on that, but the skin of the pigs.
Yes,
is really catching my eye.
The skin's looking quite nice.
I like the different sort of colors. It's giving very Angela Bassett, where you use the different tones, like you've got like a nice green and then you use a little bit of brown to bring in some other sort of tones and shades and variations.
But I
like it.
I still feel like so see how he's done this belt in a different color?
Is it? It looks very much the same as the rest of it. It
does look similar, but it's a different color here, or at least the way I look at it, it looks like a different color. I feel like he should have done that for the main belt.
Yeah, I think he could still improve in creating more accent pieces.
Because, like, I feel like this looks really good, as you say. It looks very much like the heavy metal style. Heavy Metal is a movie which stylistically is the start of... here, what I'll do is, when we go in... See, it does seem to be a different colour.
Because you see how the coat has like sort of different patches of brown all over it.
So this is the cartoon.
Oh, okay.
And so like it feels very much like that cartoon with the orcs. You know, they've got that sort of vibe to them. That's what I feel like, that sort of thing. I think they're looking really good. I like them, but I just feel like, because I think that his pouch is a different color, but I feel like that a big belt in the middle just needs to be a different color.
Yeah, like, don't be afraid to add a little bit of accent on different things, like maybe a black leather belt or something, just to give some differentiation on some of the other guys. But it's good.
Well, because it's too blocky otherwise. Like, for me, I'd make the belt a different color and this little tabard here a different color.
I think the tabard might be fine, but like the stitching at the tabard.
Yeah.
Maybe like those like little parts that are so clearly distinct. Just make it distinct,
Yeah. I like it.
I still like it. Yeah. Very nice.
All right.
Ooh. Whoops, guess I hyper-focused. Got the Emperor's Champion done. Bar one shoulder pad. But looks veteran-like, you be the judge. And finished my 5-man Inferno Squad Crusade. Something.
It was Crusade Squad, that's all.
Okay.
So, I think they're looking pretty good. I'd try and clean up the lines a little on this guy here. Mm-hmm. With these shoulder pads.
See, he's done some muzzle burn on some of these garments.
Yeah, he's trying that out.
It's looking pretty good. I think the white on the helmet does feel a little bit chalky. A little chalky. Like patchy a bit, you know? Like, it could be more opaque. I think it needs a few, not too thick layer, but like, just thin layer just to build up that patchy cover up.
Yeah, so taking a look at this, I'd still grab those chains. I think that the edge highlighting's looking good that he's doing.
I think it could be still more precise, I think, because I can see that some parts a bit thick and some parts a bit thin. Like,
yeah.
But it's coming along very well, yeah. I think it's just a matter of cleanup at this point, CN, so I think you're doing pretty good.
All right. Yeah, well, but I think mainly grabbing some chains would help this guy out. I think that would be the big thing that would help him look the part a bit more. Mm-hmm. Shoulder pad, obviously, but yeah, I think a little cleanup. Sunny's right. Just a little cleanup to make them a bit neater.
I think he was going to add the decal stickers on the shoulder pads, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and yes.
Yes. I'm so prone to making this mistake, honey. I shall be more specific in the will next time. In the will?
Oh, okay. In the will.
That's what it says, right? That's what it's about, isn't it?
How about you read it out? Because I don't want to be,
See, that's what it says in the end. So we're not gonna readjust things so that, it states...
I do not have any suicidal thoughts.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
So Barry White, he's a new member. And when I took a look at this, right, the very first thing that I thought was, so I've commented a bit to it in the thing, right? But if we take a look at the face, it's actually
really
decent.
Good,
yeah. And I like the way that he does the weapons. They're obviously a stylistic choice.
Yeah, it does look very much like the heavy metal style.
I'm not sure if it's
the
heavy
GW
metal style,
heavy metal style, kind of.
The thing is, if you take a look at this face, look at that. It's actually really quite good. Like, I think it's looking really good. But then you take a look at the gold, and the gold is just flat as a tack. it's, honey, don't, like, our goal is not to blow smoke here. Our goal is to, and like, I think that he's done really well in some areas. Like, I like the way that he's done the cloth. I think the face looks excellent. I love the energy effect with the weapons because it's an obvious stylistic choice, yes. And like, it could be more precise or whatever, right? But no, I like it. I like it in the same way that I like the various, Super Nintendo. Sorry, not Super Nintendo. The Link games. I've forgotten. Zelda. Yeah. The Zelda games where they make a stylistic choice and keep to it. And I feel like that's the same here. Like, it looks just right. Right? I feel like if you pushed in another direction, you'd have to put a lot more work in, or it just wouldn't look as good. I think that looks really good. I think that the face looks good. I like the way that he's done the cloth. The cloth is like, it's nice, it's simple, it's elegant, it works, right? And I just feel as if, like, if he's pushed so hard in some areas, but not as much in others, and like, that's the thing I don't get, because like, I feel like if he pushed his gold, he could have like some amazing looking miniatures. They look good. I'm not saying they look bad. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't feel right. Do you know what I'm getting
Yeah, you
at?
feel that, it could be just take it all the way instead of just some parts. And
The lines on this one, not as good as the lines on this one. The way you've got the
the rebar.
Rebar, that's the word I was looking for. The way you got the rebar coming out of this, very nice, very schmick. I know that he's got tactical rock, so you're working as hard as you can with it. But I feel like this base is done better than this base. And like, that's one of the things we do here. We try not to blow smoke and we try not to put people down. But like, this one, way better than this one. Just because I feel like the lines are more correct. And I think that's about it for my feedback. Do you want to add or say anything?
Well, I actually quite like it as it is because like I can see the obvious nice highlights that he's brought up with the gold, and the color of the gold that he's used is very much that sort of flat pale gold that you have, not so much that very chromy type of gold.
But that's what I'm saying. It's quite flat, and like, it could do with highlights, that sort of thing. Honey, we're on the air. You have to
Yes,
speak.
I just feel that it's like, and I see the second model, I can clearly see a lot of highlights on the gold.
But those aren't highlights, they're reflections.
Oh, okay. Then in that case, then maybe you could use some more highlights, like painted on highlights and shadowings.
Yeah. And the reason why I say what I say is because I feel like you've done really well in these other areas.
Yeah.
And like, it's
just give it the full due diligence that it's asking for, I guess.
Yeah, well, like, that's my thoughts. But if you don't agree, honey, you should say as much.
I don't know. I just honestly like it as is. Just because I can see those reflections and it looks good in picture, but who knows? Maybe when you see it as it is, and then there's like, it looks flat, then I might say it differently.
Yeah, that photography is a devil in of itself. Oh yes, we have tiny baby wanting to come and join us. So this is me waffling on a lot, I should say. So I did this whole process of doing up these, and I'm looking to do up those bases in this same style. and I'm just looking at ways I can sort of do it in a more speedy way.
Yeah.
And one of the more speedy ways that I've discovered that I can do it is by using the dirty down rust.
Yes.
And also the oven.
Oh, yes. But you have found that using the dirty down rust and applying heat, it seemed to warp the resin a bit, yeah?
Oh, well, so that's one of the reasons why I want to use the oven, because one of the things is you just put it in the oven, and I'm not saying for a long time, I'm just saying...
pop it in and out.
Yeah.
Pop it in and out.
That's pretty much...
Yeah, because when you apply like a sort of fairly thin down version of the dirty down rust, it really reacts to heat like instant, you know? And it's a bit funny because the bottle says not to be used with water, but when you use it with water, you get some of the best results a bit, you know? It's a lot faster than if you use the thick version.
She's eating, which is good.
Yeah. She's talking about the cat.
Yes. Yes, she's a terrible eater. She doesn't eat as much as she should. So,
Brushstroke says, in a bit, do a stripe painting mood for this guy. Still very early days, but pretty happy with the proportion of the stripes. Yes.
Yeah, the stripes are looking really good. So this is way back from in the day. He's got these guys, and they go on a pirate ship, and they look really cool. I really wish I could bring up some of those photos from back in the day. They look so good.
This is an old model?
Yeah.
Like as in he's done this model in the past?
Or... he's done models like this in the past.
Oh, okay. Right. Is this Lord of the Rings?
I think it is Lord of the Rings, yeah.
It's got Lord of the Rings vibes.
So, here we go. Shades added. Oh, yeah. I hate adding shades and stuff. Oh, hello, buddy.
I think, does he mean like manual shading?
Yeah, he means manual shading.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah? It's very perfect.
Yeah,
very
see there.
Yeah, I see what he's talking
And
about.
there.
Yeah.
He's also added lines within the lines.
Oh, why, Brushstroke? Why?
Because he wants to flex on us.
You gotta flex my skills, the skills. What brush size did you use, Mr. Brushstroke?
He used flex on your brush size.
Yes, flex tape. Smack. You got a problem? Solve it with flex tape.
But yeah, that is looking very good.
Very good, yeah.
Blue and white. Yeah, it is purely just a flex on us.
Is it really?
Yes.
I thought some other color combo was a lot harder to pull off with stripes.
So, Justin's returned to us. Welcome back, Justin.
It's so long. Can you guess what it is yet? A Gundam. Had this dreadnought. Oh, okay. Dreadnought / Dread Knight conversion sitting around for long enough. Time to get working on him. Brother Kaizen of the Scythes of the Emperor chapter is reborn eternal. A few height adjustments, if I recall, and some conversions to the arm. Mortarian's scythe helped with the weapon, but the rest is scratch build with parts of a hammer, brass rod, and wire cabling. Have adjusted the legs to give it a more dynamic stance, toying with some banners and purity seals, but these can be added. We'll base coat and then assemble for you all when I get some magnets, possibly before for another fit test. Hope you will enjoy.
Yeah, no, it's looking good as a start. Like
look at that.
We'll take a closer look at the image because he made that scythe mostly.
He made it.
Yeah,
from this conversion.
So
right?
This right here, and that down the bottom. So this is Mortarian scythe, but that down there is all him.
What do you mean all him? How do you make that?
He told you up here. You know, scratch built with parts of a hammer, brass rod, and wire cabling.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, I thought it was something else.
I reckon it's looking pretty good.
It looks like an actual,
it looks
like GW
yeah, it
already.
does.
Yeah, it's so seamless, you can't even tell.
Yeah, Well, priming always helps with that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
All right.
Ooh, something here from Cian. Whip Wednesday. It's time for bugs. Managed to snag this Tyranid Prime off eBay. Dirt cheap and had to continue my Kraken.
Theme. All right, let's take a look at that.
I do like how the wings have come out. Very fleshy, very bony. I think you've achieved that look very well.
Yeah, that looks good.
And yep, the red is very popping. Yeah, it's coming out good, I can't wait to see how you tackle the edge highlights on this guy this time, because that's something you had trouble with the last time.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that. Alright, and we got Andy.
Mr. Andy is saying, going to be away from my painting desk for a little while, so here's the 4 Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion Heroes that I've just finished with bases. As I said before, the aim was a decent tabletop standard, so they look good when playing in the game. Also, some almost obligatory pictures of Sir Yeet-Salot, yes. Taking on the feedback from last time, I've tried to glaze some colors onto his sword and spent a bit more time on the back to try and make it as good as the front. I think the cloak could do with a bit more contrast between the shades and highlights, so might go back and push that a bit, and then he needs some kind of base.
Alright, let's take a look. So, the thing that I feel like with this one, now I know that he's going for decent tabletop standard in that one, but like it's obvious that he's put a wash into this, right, into these crevices and such, and like it's controlled, it's not just tide marked and that sort of thing.
But it's a bit fat.
It's not about the fatness, it's about the fact that it's black. I feel that if it was sort of a desaturated orange or a very dark yellow,
or a brown maybe?
Yeah, brown could work a lot better. Yeah. I feel like, because this is sort of like
because you know what it looks like? It looks like one of those leather crafts where you go in with the burner tool, where you go to burnish, and then it leaves those sort of burned marks there to create the seal of the artist. Like, that's how it looks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because it's definitely the feature of this model, and I feel as if like it's not working as hard.
I do agree. I think it's because it's sort of bled out of the lines a little bit. I'm not sure.
I think one way to rescue it might be to go in, not on this side, but on this side, and just get some, what do you call it? The pure pigment, and just wet it slightly and hit it around the cape. So as if like this guy's been tracking through the mud and muck and that sort of thing, so that it gets the feeling that like there is dirt and grime trapped in his cloak, rather than that its color is off, sort of thing. Because like I feel like that looks nice.
Yeah, you could definitely make certain things work some of the times.
Yeah.
When it didn't turn out as great.
All right, and here's the guy from before. I reckon he looks good. I like him. I'd like a little bit more of a highlight on the weapon.
Yeah, because the weapon does look very bright.
Flat.
Doesn't? Yeah, flat.
Yeah.
Very bright silver, yeah.
And just tidy there. I know it's just decent tabletop, but I wouldn't give other people as much as a hard time, but like it's obvious that you've put a bit of effort into the rest of it.
Yeah.
And like it's just like I was saying with the other guy, you know, like when you put that effort in,
you just give it your all the way.
Well, no, I don't think he should take it up to character. Just, you know, do a little tidy.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's interesting. I like the purple on here.
Yeah, I do like the purple. I'm not sure what's with the face.
I think it's one of those sort of face paint sort of things, because they've got all of the sort of tribal markings on their
Maybe
kelp.
he's got another angle of this guy.
think it's just the front and the back. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think I'd like to see if we could see a bit of that. So I like the base. The base is looking good. But I do feel like we could see a bit more of this model. I really like the purple on this. And I think it's meant to be illuminating down here because you see how the rest of the stuff doesn't look quite as bright. Yeah, see what I mean? Mm-hmm. I reckon that looks cool. And I like how our chemical bottles that she's got like stand out a lot.
Yeah, they do.
Alright.
This goblin?
Yeah. I
think the color of the goblin is quite close to the ground color. I think that's why.
No, it's not that. I'm not sure that there's anything wrong with the... I don't... I'll try and be more clear and precise. There is nothing wrong with the painting here. The painting is fine, but I feel confused taking a look at this model, and I feel as if the model itself is quite confused.
I think I know why. It's because like the weapon that he's holding is the same color as his skin. So like when you look at it,
the army sort of thing.
Yeah, so you can't really tell what's what.
Well, no, see, like, I get that it's a weapon and stuff, but I think you might be right on that one.
Because, I mean,
like, if the
that's
weapon
why,
was
look
a
how
different
confusing that back is. Because, like, the pouch is also a very similar tone to the rest of him. And then you sort of read that whole piece as, this is my whole body.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, okay, I don't know where to focus.
But the basing is actually really
good.
nice.
Yeah,
I really like the basing for this guy. Yes.
Sir Yeats a lot.
Liking the reflections here in the sword.
I think he did some cleanup with the pants and the shading. Yeah.
So that's looking really nice.
Yeah, the sword came out really good.
I think... I'm not sure about the cape. So we was talking about the cape before, right? And you take a look at the socks here. So on this side, they're quite bright by comparison to this side. So that indicates to me that the light's shining on this side. So if that's the case, I think that the cloak should be brought up in brightness quite a great deal. Like almost to Chimera color, the red at its peak sort of thing. Also, it is a very popping model. Man, I would hate doing this model because like I'd just be like, if I touch anywhere slightly wrong, I'm going to non-words I can use here in this podcast.
Yes, that's correct.
The words I use in my painting room. But yeah. All right, and that's it from Andy. But yeah, like I think that he's doing a really good job. But I feel like with some of them, just like that little bit extra would...
really set it together.
Yeah. Like, not an enormous amount extra, just like a tiny bit. And these are the things that I made. Very exciting. Do you want to comment on any of them?
I do think that we should try doing the grout filler next time.
Yes.
Yeah, because like some of the parts were wet, the paint, and then like it got smudged with the thumbprint and everything. And yeah, but and then it seemed a very messy result, but I did like the holder came out perfect.
And now for your favorite.
Yes, I've been waiting for this for a very long time.
I'll just walk out and hopefully she'll waffle on for a long time and then forget about it.
Calling them finished. They hit the tournament scene this weekend. Very happy with the finish. Developing how one paint is a journey. Sometimes we experiment, sometimes we copy other styles we see and admire, and eventually we find our own styles. These change over time too, but the key is to be happy with how your painting looks for you.
Yeah.
Over time, I have become comfortable with the style that exposes to a degree the paintbrush. The painting is not completely finished, leaving evidence of blending and brush strokes. I always try to push some depth of shade and some bold highlights. As Henry pointed out, early these types of models have some significant flat sections to deal with that can't be handled by dry brushing or similar techniques. It takes some time with some wet blending to get some depth to the color. I have played a bit with some exposure on the photos to try and get the pics to show the models a tad better. Now we get to wait and see yours. Cheers, mine. Cheers for your company along this journey.
All right, let's take a look. And yeah, thanks for messing with the exposure, because that will hopefully let us take a better look. So let's start out. So I feel like this one is just with the light. I very much like the line still. I mean, like I've said that with each one.
I think
look at the hearts here. I like that.
I think he's really pushed the definition of everything, and it's come out. Ooh, look at that! Just look at that. It's so colorful.
Yeah, I think this is where he's pushed brightness and lowered. Because yeah, you can see it in this one. Yeah, because this is the one where he's and like. They've come out a lot better. Like, I think that...
I can see a little bit more of the details in this picture.
Right, well, we'll take a look at this one and then we'll go to the next one. I like what he's done with the bases, how he's got the black around the areas where there isn't the cracks.
Yeah.
Like, I think that that's very creative and I think it looks very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Let's take a look here. So this is the one where he's messed with the exposure, and I think the reason that he's done that is primarily to
show how he's done the bone color.
Yeah, because we'll compare to here. I think you'll see it very clearly.
Yeah, look at that.
So we can see the subtle variation in it, and like you're still seeing the light very much in that one, but you can see how he's done a lot of the blending and that sort of thing. Whereas you can't really see it here in this one as much. And like...
I think because he's gone for that very ceramic style of bone.
Yeah.
It's also a cartoon style, very heavily a cartoon style. He can't go for that more realistic tone of a bit more of a more dull bone.
And see the light is playing with it a lot. Because take a look at the ears here on this one, right? And then take a look at a very sort of similar style of model over here. And you can see the
line,
difference.
Yeah.
So I think very much the light is playing games with seeing how much we actually get to see. Like seeing them in person, I'm almost certain that these would look very different. But
I think he did a great job.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Like he's obviously been putting a lot of effort. Yes, hello. There's a new box that has to be investigated.
With packing peanuts.
Yes.
And everything.
So I think that these crests are still my favorite part. I like the skin on the back done in that bone style with the crocodiles here. I like the subtle variations in the cheeks, I guess you could call them, with the bones. They are cheekbones. I like the red that he's done for their sort of chest cavity sort of thing. I guess they're gemstones, obviously, but yes. I was going to say phylacteries because I think that's what's keeping them alive. But yeah, I think the non-metallic gold. Sorry, non-metallic metal gold.
Non-metallic gold really did come out quite nicely, and he really did achieve that sort of cartoon-like gem effect.
Yeah,
it's really quite exaggerated. Yeah, I
like the purple, but with the purple on the vest sort of thing, I don't know why, but I don't think it has come out as well as the blue. But when it comes to saying why, I'm having some trouble. I'm guessing it's because of the saturation levels, because with the saturation here, I'm just going to move to that same model.
Yeah.
I think it's like, because I was saying that the blue looks better than the purple, and I was just thinking maybe it's because of the saturation levels here. Like, the blue feels like it doesn't lose as much saturation as this does, like that he went into a more sort of pastel look.
I think with that tone of purple, you kind of have to move to a pastel.
Otherwise, it won't read as purple. It'll be a magenta or something like that.
It will just look like purple white.
Maybe. I don't know. All I can say is, like, I feel like that didn't come out as well as many of these other parts, which are really quite nice.
I do think you might be right on some. If you use yeah, see there, you see the top of the head there. It's got like a bit of a magenta fade into it.
Well, no, it looks more white. See, like around
yeah, it's
here.
just white.
Whereas I feel like I think it might look better if it was pushed in color saturation instead, going into a magenta instead of going into
white. Okay, I know. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Can I point something out?
Yeah.
So it's more like this area here. But in the computer, it looks very different from the TV, because in the TV, the saturation is pushed up, so it's much like a dark purple, and it goes into a magenta color here.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we do have the TV screen and the laptop screen, so that we can see that slight variation, so that it's not just the screen that is...
Actually, that's not entirely true. I learned something recently.
Oh, yeah?
That the color correction on different devices can change. So video editors actually they use a special sort of device or something to make sure that all devices, the color is the same.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right, sure. But it's very obvious that he's done very well. But once again, we don't want to blow smoke. We want to give people feedback, which they hopefully can find useful. And like, I feel like that's the only one part that I try and improve here. Like, because with that, it just...
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because like certain colors, like for example, orange, red, you can't just highlight it up to white. You have to highlight up in saturation.
Yeah.
Or else it looks really odd. So I get what you're saying.
Like red really usually goes into orange.
Yeah.
And yellow usually, when you shade it, goes down into orange.
Yeah.
You know?
Or brown.
Or brown, yeah. And I think that's why when we looked at that one before, we were like, Like, it's obvious that he's gone for a specific style here. And I think that he's nailed that sort of chibi style. I really like the color combinations. I love the way that he's done the base. It's so minimalist, but it feels so right, because he's got that black around there. And like, it just feels very tidy.
Yeah.
Like,
I would agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to like about this team. A lot. I also really... Yeah, no. That's about it. Alright. I think there's...
We shall move on to the next guy.
Yeah. Alright. So next up...
Oh, it's Cyan with one neural tone.
So, Ardcoat does make the world of difference. The left is the neural...
Neuroid doesn't have its brains coated. The right does. Gives a true slime effect.
Alright, well, let's take a look. Why did I open 2 when I can just...
I see what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It really brings out the depth of the brain veins as well once you put the slime.
Yeah. This is
that looks
much
like a
better shot.
live brain, and the other one looks a bit like a dead brain.
Ah, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But anyway, I think that the brain effect that he's been doing has come up really well.
I do feel that the highlights still a bit too thick.
Bit chunky.
Yeah.
Alright, so okay, so Joseph has been working on the dragon for a while now.
I finished the Eternal Glow tonight. I need to tidy up around it a little and unify the flesh tones between the two parts, but it's coming along nicely. I have the next week off, and my plan is to mostly ignore Diablo, yes, and paint lots and play more Aeon Trespass. I hope you have this dragon. I hope to have this dragon done by the end of the weekend.
All right, let's take a look.
I really think he did a great job with the glow. Look at that. It looks like an infant emperor.
Yeah, I think that might be the person.
Yeah.
When they transform. It's the mecha.
The mecha. That is so cool.
Yeah, the yellow glow has come out. Very nice. Yeah.
So it's almost the hand forms like a protective rib cage around the...
Yeah, see?
Around the fella.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good. I think the OSL came out perfect on this guy. Yeah, see that? Oh, this is model color. No, yeah, Vallejo. Yeah, I thought I saw Vallejo.
But yeah, I think he's got one more of this. Oh no.
It's Mr. Lee Hobbins.
So we took a look at this earlier, and I think it needs a few more thin coats up here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit splotchy. Or alternatively, you can try and go grimdark, get some sponge, and chip very heavily on this, and sort of have them as if they're like
battle damage.
Yeah, like as if they've been in a long war.
I do think the white could be improved a bit here, because it does look like he just went for straight white instead of building from grey up to white.
I don't mind the white around the trim though. The white around the trim seems to be a lot nicer. But yeah, I'd say either some nice thin coats to even out your paint job, or go in with some chipping to try and push him a little bit.
I think, yeah.
And hopefully that will get it to where you want it to be.
But I think you've chosen very nice colours here, but it's probably the chapter colour anyway. But
oh yeah, no.
But I do think he's done a great job with the shading with the blue, where he's gone in a sort of a cobalt blue to a nice, very saturated bright blue for the highlights. So that's good.
All right, and
finally, Joseph say, Dragon King main body is now done. Next is the fleshy part of the wings.
Okay. The eyes are looking great.
That. Yeah.
Teeth look really good. Like, I understand that this is a choice.
I do get what you're saying now, because I thought it was the lighting, but yeah, that's a very white bone.
Yeah, it's very white. And like, I don't know, it just feels a little off, especially for Kingdom Death, because like Kingdom Death is such a sort of grungy, terrible, awful place.
But I kind of like this sort of very white bone, because it gives it that sort of unnatural effect of this creature, and and because of that shape, that circular shape, and the way that the
broken halo,
broken halo and the grooves come, it really sort of, it looks like you're looking into an eye of some sort, into the portal of hell. I don't know, I'm just coming up with things, but it brings my eye places that I can't quite describe, and I quite like that.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us, everybody, and we're sorry that we weren't as active in commentary and such this week because of the trip. We're home, safe and sound. I was a bit miserable in the car, going
was a
10
very,
hours straight.
Yeah, 10-hour drive, my dude. So I was like,
so yeah, it was not 100% the best. This one didn't do as well as we wanted, but we knew the minute that we said kids that
things were gonna happen. But hey,
such is life.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and of course, keep those brushes wet. Bye-bye.